For this final example, before we close out of the quick charge entry screen, I want to be able to show you how to post charges on a patient who isn't in the appointment scheduler. As you know right now that when you pull up the data service here, it'll list all the patients who haven't had charges posted to that data service yet and who are listed in the appointment scheduler. Now for some offices that are new to Advanced MD, they like to migrate or bring over all their charges over into Advanced MD for patients they've seen in the past on their previous billing software. Now to do so, you can go ahead and schedule them all in the past in the scheduler up at the top here by clicking on the scheduler button, which could take a long time to get them scheduled here first for months and months ago when you didn't have Advanced MD, or better yet, enter the patient information in the patient demographics by clicking on the blue dude, and then when you're done, simply click over here and pull up the patient. And I'm going to pull up Bart Simpson, so I'll type in the first couple letters of his last name and hit the tab key. Double click on Bart. When I pull him up, you can see when I click on the drop down arrow next to the visit number that he already has 2 visits that no charges have been posted to as of yet. But we're going to pretend that he doesn't have any visits, or in other words, he's not scheduled in the appointment scheduler in Advanced MD. If he's not, he'll have a visit number here with today's date. If today's date's December 31st, it'll show here. In any case, you can use that visit number, or you can click on the visit number, which I'll have to in this case because I can't use the visit numbers here when I'm generating a new one for a different data service. So I click on the visit number, automatically gives me, well, to the left here, new visit number and today's for the data service. Don't worry about it here because you can change that date down below. So let's pretend it was August when we saw this patient, or the doctor did, August 25th. When you hit the tab key, it'll automatically update the to field, in which case you can click on it and say, well, it was for 2 days, and then double click. Be sure to enter in your procedure codes, and then make sure you change the units, if need be, the diagnosis codes, whatever they may be. And then finally, we can click on the Add button to add it down below, and we can collect our copay. Now, by default, it says here, at least for Bart Simpson, that there's no copay. That could be for one of 2 reasons. Either first, there is no copay, or second, that the front office or the biller or somebody may have forgot to put it in the patient demographics. For example, I'm going to go to the patient demographics and pull up Bart Simpson. Click on the Insurance tab, and you'll see for the primary insurance carrier, Blue Cross Blue Shield, the copay is set to $0. Well, you can change that here and say it's $15, but in this case, I'll close back out. You can see that it's $0, and if I try to collect a copay on this, clicking on the copay button, and I'll type in my amount, $15. The PP is for patient payment, that's the code. Was it by check, Visa, cash? In any case, you can also type in some notes that when you check the receipt and click OK, it'll print a receipt for them. In this case, I'll go ahead and click OK, and when I click OK, it'll give me a warning because you can see the payment amount is set to 0, and that was on the patient demographics in the insurance tab. It'll say, look, it's not the same, and there's my warning. The default copay amount is different. Would you like to update the insurance coverage to match? If I click OK, it'll update my $0 amount on the insurance tab to $15. Or it says click cancel to continue without updating the coverage. So if I click cancel, it won't update the coverage, but at least allow me to post my $15 copay here. In any case, when I'm done, I'll click process, and it posts the charges. Now I want to see what it looks like when I pull up Bart Simpson in the history screen. So what I'm going to do is close out of here. The third tab here is to pull up the patient financial history. I'll click on that. It still pulls up the patient demographics, but it pulls you right to the history tab. And then up at the top, I'll type in the first couple letters of the last name, hit the tab key, pull up Bart Simpson. And you can see here that for the data service, August 25th, you can double click on it, and it shows us it's from the 25th through the 26th. But in any case, for that data service there, we have an unapplied amount of $15. Now why is it unapplied? Because you can see here there's no patient balance. Well, if you made a mistake when posting your charges, or you want to make changes after by looking on the history screen, in this case I do want to have a patient balance. I can double click on it, and say that the patient balance is $15, type it in. The moment I hit the tab key, it'll update or subtract the $15 from the insurance portion. I hit the tab key, it updates, I click save, and then I close out. Now after I update it, it doesn't automatically apply to it. And because I have what's called an unapplied patient payment amount of $15, if I want to post the payment, to quickly do it, you go to the Transaction Entry tab, click on the Payment Entry screen, pull up the patient unapplied patient amount, and you'll see the unapplied amount is $15, and I want to apply that to a specific date of service. And that date of service was right here, August 25th. So I'll type in the $15, hit the tab key, and click OK. It posts the payment or the unapplied $15. I go back to my History tab, and you can see the unapplied green U is no longer there. But in addition, I've got a plus sign that when I click on it, it tells me that the patient payment was applied of the $15. So now the patient balance is 0 because it cancels out here, and now we're looking forward to the insurance payment of $510.